crime. Ian Duncan Smith?
Well, it's not being soft on crime. Let's just take a pace back for a second and understand the nature of crime and who's committing crime. And I said earlier on, and I will say again, that Camilla is part of the solution of this because it's not just about prisons. The key thing is that the people who commit crime come from the most dysfunctional backgrounds you can possibly imagine. They're tiny in proportion. We pretty much know where they are most of the time. And they will cascade through the schooling system and eventually end up in things like street gangs and eventually doing early burglaries. They'll be on drugs, they'll be in alcohol abuse. I mean, after all, Simon made a reference to this. About 2/3 of them come from broken homes, our prisoners. About 1/3 of them come from care homes, very dysfunctional backgrounds. Most of them are drug, polysubstance abusers. They have a reading age of a child of about 11, a numerate age of a child of 11. They can't fill forms in, they can't apply for employment, they can't attend an interview, half of them, because they are almost illiterate and incapable of doing this. These are the people that we are locking up. And the biggest problem that we've got, that went on under the last government, is we go on locking up the same people again and again and again. And if we think the solution is to go on locking up the same people again and again, I must tell you, there's a recipe for disaster. We have added 1/3 to the prison population in the last 10 years. And does anybody in here feel safer? Because I don't. The reality is what Ken Clarke said this week, and this is important, if I sound a bit patriotic, because I really am about this, we have to review our dysfunctional criminal justice system. Because what's going on right now is we see these kids coming into it, first time round, and they will go back again into prison. Nearly 3/4 of them will be reoffending again within 2 years, and the whole system is in crisis. That's why we're overloaded. That's why it costs us £45,000 a year to put somebody in prison.
So it's not saving the money that you're on about.
No, you save money, but at the same time, what you have to do is recognise we have to start rehabilitating those first-time offenders so they don't go back into prison again, and they lead a and last time, the government failed absolutely and utterly on rehabilitation. Early intervention, rehabilitation. Yes, lock up the violent offenders and the very persistent offenders that cause you trouble. But for God's sake, let's rescue those kids that are heading into a life of crime, because we will suffer as much as they do.
You, madam.
I'm a